The voicemail light blinked red in the darkness. 3 messages. I knew without checking that they were all from Mom. Sarah calling from that cramped apartment in Phoenix, her voice getting smaller with each attempt. The same apartment I'd been paying rent for since Dad died 2 years ago. I pressed play anyway. Marcus, honey, it's Mom. I know you're busy with the restaurant, but could you call me back? It's about Danny. He's in some trouble again. My younger brother Danny. Always in trouble. Always needing rescue. The second message was shorter, more strained. Marcus, please. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. Danny says he owes some people money. Bad people. He needs $15,000 by Friday or... The third message was just crying. I deleted them all and poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey. Outside my apartment window, the city hummed with late-night energy. Sirens, laughter, the distant clatter of my own restaurant's kitchen staff cleaning up after another sold-out night. Beacon, my restaurant. The one I'd built from nothing after dropping out of culinary school to work 16-hour days for 5 years straight. My phone buzzed. A text from Danny. Bro, I know Mom called. I'm sorry. I didn't want to drag you into this, but I'm out of options. These guys aren't playing around. I stared at the message until the screen went dark, then set the phone face down on my granite countertop. The same countertop I'd saved for 8 months to afford, eating nothing but staff meal scraps and sleeping on a mattress on the floor. The next morning I drove to Phoenix. Not because I wanted to help Danny, I was tired of helping Danny, but because I needed to see Mom, to look her in the eye and understand how we'd gotten here again. The apartment complex was worse than I remembered. Peeling paint, broken security gate, the smell of cigarettes and defeat hanging in the desert air. I climbed the stairs to 2B, my key still working after all these years of paying for this place. Mom opened the door before I could knock, as if she'd been watching from the window. At 58 she looked older than her years, worn down by worry and disappointment and the weight of loving someone who kept breaking her heart. Marcus, she said, relief flooding her voice. Thank God you're here. Danny was sprawled on the couch, his left eye swollen shut, a cut on his lip that looked fresh. He didn't look up when I entered. This is Danny. What happened? Got behind on payments, he mumbled. These guys don't send invoices. Payments for what? He finally met my eyes. Sports betting. Started small, you know. Just weekend games. But I got in deep and kept thinking I could win it back. The same story. Different details, same ending. Danny had always been the charmer, the one who could talk his way out of anything. Until he couldn't. How much? I asked. 15 now. But it goes up every day I don't pay. I looked at Mom, who was wringing her hands by the kitchen doorway. How long have you known? A week. He showed up here with that face, scared out of his mind. Said he didn't know where else to go. And you called me. I didn't know what else to do. You've always been the responsible one. The one who fixes things. The responsible one. The fixer. The backup plan. I sat down across from Danny, studying his battered face. Who are these people? Local guys. Run book out of a bar downtown. They're not connected or anything, but they're serious about their money. Danny, I said slowly, how much have I given you over the years? He shifted uncomfortably. What do you mean? You know what I mean. The car repairs, the rent money, the DUI lawyer, the money when you lost your job. All of it. Mom stepped forward. Marcus, this isn't the time. It's exactly the time. I kept my eyes on Danny. How much? He was quiet for a long moment. Maybe 40? 50,000. 67,000, I said. I keep track. The room fell silent except for the hum of the ancient air conditioner. I paid for your apartment in Portland. Your car. Your girlfriend's medical bills. Your court fees. Your rehab. Your second rehab. Your job training program that you quit after 3 weeks. My voice stayed level, professional. The same tone I used with vendors who tried to shortchange me. And now you want 15 more. I'll pay you back, Danny said quickly. I've got this job lined up. No, you don't. I stood up. You don't have a job. You don't have a plan. You have a gambling problem and a talent for making it everyone else's emergency. Marcus, Mom said, her voice breaking. He's your brother. He's a 40-year-old man who's never faced consequences for his choices because I keep writing checks. Danny's face hardened. So what, you're just going to let them break my legs? I'm going to let you figure it out. You've got money, he said, standing now, swaying slightly. Your fancy restaurant, your penthouse apartment. What's 15 grand to you? It's $15,000 I earned. That I saved. That I chose not to spend on myself so I could build something that matters. So you're better than us now? The question hung in the air like smoke. I looked around the apartment, at the water stain on the ceiling I'd paid to fix twice, at the furniture I'd bought for them, at the life I'd been subsidizing while building my own. I'm tired, I said finally. I'm tired of being the solution to problems I didn't create. Mom started crying. He's all I have left. After your father died, you moved away, built your life. Danny's the one who stayed. Danny's the one who needed you to take care of him. There's a difference. I walked to the window, looking out at the parking lot where my BMW sat next to rusted pickup trucks and cars held together with duct tape and prayer. I'd worked every weekend for 2 years to afford that car. Every holiday, every birthday, every moment of rest sacrificed to build something I was proud of. What if I talked to them? I said, turning back. These guys Danny owes money to. What if I negotiated something? Hope flickered in Mom's eyes. You'd do that. I'd try. But this is the last time. After this, Danny's problems are Danny's problems. Danny nodded eagerly. Yes, absolutely. I swear, Marcus. Last time. I knew he was lying. He knew I knew. But sometimes you need to draw a line in the sand, even if you're not sure you'll be able to hold it. The bar was called Lucky's, which seemed like a cosmic joke given the circumstances. It was the kind of place where the jukebox played the same 5 songs and the bartender knew everyone's drink before they ordered. I found the guy Danny owed money to, a thick man named Rico who wore gold chains and talked in percentages. You're the brother, Rico said, not a question. I am. Good. Shows family loyalty. I respect that. We negotiated. Not the $15,000 Danny owed, but $10,000 cash by the end of the week. Rico would consider the debt settled, and Danny would be banned from placing any more bets. It was a better deal than I'd expected. Your brother's got a problem, Rico said as we shook hands. But you probably know that. I do. Good luck with him. I drove back to the apartment to tell them the news. Mom cried with relief. Danny promised to get help to find a job to turn his life around. I'd heard it all before, but I nodded anyway. That night, I transferred $10,000 from my savings account, money I'd been saving for a second restaurant location, and delivered it to Rico the next morning. Danny hugged me at the door, tears in his eyes, swearing this was a new beginning. I flew back to my city, back to my restaurant, back to my life. And for 3 months I almost believed it had worked. Danny called occasionally, upbeat messages about job interviews and new opportunities. Mom sounded lighter, more hopeful. Then came the call. Marcus. Danny's voice was shaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I messed up again. The same bar. Different debt. $12,000 this time. Danny, you promised. I know. I did. But I had a sure thing and I thought I could win back what I'd lost before, maybe even pay you back some of what I owed you. I hung up. He called back immediately. I declined the call. Then Mom called. Marcus, please. He's scared. These new guys aren't like Rico. They're talking about making an example of him. Then maybe they should. You don't mean that. But I did. For the first time in my life I meant it completely. 3 days later I got a call from a Phoenix hospital. Danny had been beaten badly, broken ribs, concussion, internal bleeding. He was stable but the medical bills were mounting. I drove back to Phoenix not to pay his debts but to see him. To understand what I was really dealing with. Danny was awake when I entered his hospital room, his face a palette of purple and yellow bruises. He looked up at me with the same pleading eyes he'd used since childhood. I'm sorry, he whispered. Are you? Yes. God, yes. I hate what I've become. I hate that I keep hurting you and Mom. But you keep doing it. I can't stop. I've tried but I can't. It's like there's this voice in my head telling me the next bet will fix everything and I can't shut it up. For the first time I saw something real in his eyes. Not manipulation or desperation but genuine self-awareness. The recognition that he was sick, not just weak. What do you need? I asked. Help. Real help. Not money but help. I researched treatment centers for the next 4 hours. Found one in Colorado that specialized in gambling addiction. A 6-month residential program with a good success rate. Cost $18,000. I'll pay for treatment, I told him. But that's it. After you get out, you're on your own. No more bailouts, no more emergency loans, no more chances. What if I relapse? Then you relapse. But you do it without my money. He agreed. What choice did he have? The day before Danny left for Colorado, I sat with Mom in her kitchen, drinking coffee from chipped mugs I'd bought her for Mother's Day 3 years ago. Are you angry with me? She asked. No. You're his mother. You love him. I understand that. But I can't be his ATM anymore. I can't build my life around his crises. She was quiet for a long time. I used to think that if I loved him enough, sacrificed enough, it would save him. But maybe I've been enabling him instead. Maybe we both have. What if the treatment doesn't work? Then we'll love him anyway. But we'll love him with boundaries. Danny completed the program. 6 months later, he got a job at a hardware store in Denver. He called once a week, always brief, always sober. He'd found an apartment, made a friend, joined a support group. Small victories but real ones. I opened my second restaurant the following year. The money I'd saved from not bailing Danny out again became the down payment on a lease in the Arts District. Business was good. Life was good. A year after that, Danny called with news. He'd met someone. A woman named Elena who worked at the coffee shop next to the hardware store. She didn't know about his gambling problem and he was terrified to tell her. What if she leaves? He asked. Then she leaves. But you tell her anyway. You tell her because secrets are what got you in trouble in the first place. What if I'm not strong enough? What if I gamble again? Then you gamble again. But you do it as someone who's trying to get better, not someone who's given up. He told Elena. She stayed. They got engaged a year later. The wedding was small. A courthouse ceremony in Denver with a dinner afterward at a family restaurant. I flew in for the weekend, bringing Mom with me. Danny looked nervous but happy, clean-shaven and wearing a suit that actually fit. During the dinner, Elena pulled me aside. Danny told me about the gambling. About everything you did for him. He told you. He wanted me to understand how much his family means to him. How much you mean to him. I almost gave up on him. But you didn't. You found a different way to help. At the end of the night, as we were leaving the restaurant, Danny grabbed my arm. Marcus, I need to tell you something. Here it comes, I thought. The relapse. The new debt. The emergency. I've been saving money, he said. From my job. Lena doesn't know. It's not much, but I want to pay you back. For treatment, for everything. Danny, you don't have to. I do. Not because I owe you money, but because I owe you respect. You could have kept bailing me out forever, but you didn't. You made me face my shit. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $3,000. It's a start, he said. It wasn't about the money. It was about the man writing the check. Someone who understood that love isn't just about giving, but about helping someone become worthy of what they've been given. 2 years later, Danny and Elena had a daughter. They named her Sarah after Mom. I flew to Denver to meet her, bringing gifts and hopes and the kind of love that doesn't come with conditions. Holding my niece in the hospital room, watching my brother, clean, sober, employed, married, coo at his daughter with wonder and terror and joy, I realized something I'd never understood before. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone isn't your money or your time or your sacrifice. Sometimes it's your refusal to enable their destruction. Sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes saving someone means letting them save themselves. The weight of silence, of not answering desperate calls, of not writing checks, of not rushing to fix what someone else broke, can be heavier than any burden you carry. But sometimes that weight is what builds the strength to stand up. I used to think that being the reliable one meant always saying yes. That being the responsible one meant solving everyone else's problems. But responsibility isn't about carrying other people's burdens. It's about teaching them to carry their own. If you've ever been the one who gives until it hurts, who fixes what others break, who shows up with solutions to problems you didn't create, I see you. You don't have to explain why you stopped answering certain calls, why you didn't write that check, why you chose your own well-being over someone else's crisis. Love without boundaries isn't love, it's codependency. And the bravest thing you can do isn't to keep giving. It's to stop giving long enough for someone to learn to give to themselves. The weight of silence isn't punishment. It's possibility. It's the space between who someone was and who they might become if they're willing to do the work.